I've seen enough of what this GM and head coach tandem has already done and what I believe they will continue to do, so much so that I can confidently make the following declaration that the Minnesota Vikings have created a championship window for themselves. I don't think this is a sugar rush high where it lasts for a season of having success and then the following year having to figure out how to build yourselves up to reach that success that you had the previous year. I think this is a sustainable model that lasts for at least the next 3 or 4 seasons. Now, whether they can capitalize and ultimately win the championship, that's a different conversation. We just saw the 49ers having a 5-year title window, 4 conference championship games, 2 Super Bowl appearances, ultimately couldn't close on the deal. And we're witnessing in real time that that title window has officially closed. But the Vikings, they are putting themselves in the conversation, or rather, I should say, they are giving themselves a real shot to possibly close this thing out. And I say that the conversation doesn't even matter because ESPN and the national media, they just pretend that the Vikings don't even exist. But Kevin O'Connell, not even 3 full seasons in, working on his 3rd season, has a 30-16 record. 2 of those seasons, double-digit wins. The outlier was last year, 2023, when your starting quarterback goes down and you have to scrap pile some wins as best as you can with journeyman quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks at best, in Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins. Josh Dobbs, coincidentally, under Kevin O'Connell, had his best career game. That was when he had to step in the Atlanta contest when Jaron Hall went down. And KOC, the great job that he did putting together, just really dumbing down the playbook for Josh Dobbs, who just arrived on the team, and they ended up winning that game. And GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah has cleaned up his act from 2022, certainly has gotten better in drafting since that time, and fiscally, he has the Vikings in fantastic shape. Thinking about not just the now, but also the later. They're equally important. Financially, taking the hits now for a better tomorrow. Dead cap hits from Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, and Marcus Davenport, for example. And guess what? The Vikings, because of that, and you know what, before I get into that, going to Kirk Cousins specifically, how many times have we seen teams just buckle under the pressures, understanding that, all right, this is a league where the quarterback position is super hard to find, that even if you have enough evidence of that quarterback year after year, you're never going to be able to win anything worth a damn with that quarterback. Well, if we let go of him, what are we going to do? We're scared. So let's just go ahead and give a boatload of money to said player. The Dallas Cowboys, for example, Dak Prescott, you know good and well you're never going to win a championship with this guy. He's the equivalent of Kirk Cousins. But guess what? All right, we'll give him that new contract. Kirk Cousins in Atlanta has been an absolute disaster. Yesterday, he threw 4 interceptions. Kwesi understood that, hey, okay, the starting quarterback position, it's really hard to find, but we know what we're not getting with this guy. So let's use that money elsewhere and take our chances with our scouting, with our quarterback development, with our coaching staff and Kevin O'Connell and company. And I think we're going to be in a better spot. We're at least giving ourselves a chance where we know we don't have a chance with Kirk Cousins. And with the contracts taking care of cornerstone players, Justin Jefferson and Christian Darrisaw, they already got their second deals. With those contracts, the Vikings, according to Over the Cap, have over $76 million in spending available. But what good is that money having however many resources that you have if you're considered a hellhole of a franchise, say the New York Giants or the Carolina Panthers? Well, the Vikings, they don't have to worry about that because arguably the Vikings are the premier destination in the National Football League for big money free agents. That, and they have the money starting next year to back it up and sign those players. Double whammy. You can't address everything in next year's draft with already having few draft picks to work with. So next year in free agency, you can go after guys like Will Hernandez, DJ Reed, Najee Harris if the Steelers don't decide to keep him. And for KOC, he has demonstrated time and time again that no matter how stressful it gets, no matter what the chaos, no matter what kitchen sink you decide to throw at him, far more often than not, he does whatever it takes to win games. Which brings me to the following topic that is, I guess, the hot debate right now, and it's going to be the case until next offseason starts. The Sam Darnold conundrum. And I'm only guessing that this will be received as a hot take. I don't perceive it that way. Would you sign Sam Darnold at season's end? I personally would not. I believe the system that has been built by the GM, by the head coach, is far more valuable than the player. It is no coincidence that Sam Darnold is balling out ever since coming to Minnesota. If you've been paying attention to this system, you knew from the jump that Darnold was destined to have success. I trust this regime and this system to continue building up this roster around a talented quarterback on a rookie contract. And looking at it from, or taking a macro bird's eye view approach to everything else that has been going on in Minnesota, you look at the injuries. You lost a starting cornerback that you drafted last year, 2023, due to injury. You lost your franchise left tackle. You lost out on Mr. Perfect, your kicker, in Will Reichard. You also have questionable positional spots with the interior offensive line, the interior defensive line. You have an aging secondary. You lost your starting quarterback that was Kirk Cousins, and this is supposed to be a down year. Any other team would fold in that situation, dealing with those circumstances, and in a down year, the Vikings are still winning games. They already won 10 games, and with how dangerous they are, baseline, having to reboot, the championship window is officially open.